And welcome back into Open Line. I'm Chuck Long here with Kevin Kennedy from the Kennedy Law Firm. It is Ask an Expert evening, and it's Ask the Attorney. Always love it when Kevin's here. We get so many calls, and if you're like me, you sit there sometimes and you're thinking, I've got so many legal questions, not sure who to go to, don't necessarily want to just, set up an appointment, but you think, I just want some advice. This is the guy that can give you the advice. Been in business over 34 years.
34 years. Now you're dating me, Chuck.
Well,
but they always say experience makes a difference. We got the experience. Go ahead.
Absolutely. We are going back to our lines. I do want to encourage you, if you are just tuning in, make sure you get on the line with us as soon as possible because our phone lines get very busy every time Kevin's here. All right, we are going to the lines. We are on the line with Mark. Mark, thanks for your patience. And do you have a question or a comment for Kevin?
I have a question regarding pay on my job discrimination.
Okay.
And I filed a complaint with the EEOC.
Yes.
They couldn't find, they did an investigation. They couldn't really find anything, but they gave me a right to sue law. I'm trying to figure out what does that mean and would a lawyer take his case?
Yeah, lawyers, there are specific lawyers that do nothing but EEOC complaints. You might call the Nashville Bar or Tennessee Bar Association. They would give you a referral for that. Here's the word to the wise that comes out of your question. Thank you for calling. If you feel like you're being discriminated, you should document the emails, document the conversations that are taking place. And if you had a coworker and the coworker is likewise, then you and they can share the evidence. It always gets down to, well, so what proof do you have? Well, your voice is evidence. But if you had other documents that would show the discrimination, that just makes a stronger case.
All right, so Mark, we appreciate that. And again, great advice. Document.
It's true.
Yeah.
That's our world.
Yeah, it really is, and especially today. All right, we are going back to the line. So, Mary, we are glad that you are calling in this evening. Do you have a question or comment for Kevin? Are you with us, Mary?
Yes, go right ahead.
Yes, my question is, I have 3 children, and if I left all of my property to one child, can my other 2 children go against that?
Okay, in Tennessee, you don't have to leave a child anything. There's no mandate on law. Now, I'm telling you, I'd recommend getting a will. If I were doing that will, here's one little caveat that I do. Some lawyers don't, but I would write in that will specifically, I acknowledge I have 3 children. I further acknowledge that I choose not to give these other 2 because for whatever reason, if I've already given them son or they have not been kind to me, I want to leave all that. And I think that clear understanding, a good understanding keeps down a misunderstanding. And so even if they brought a charge with that documentation and that will executed properly, they're not going to get to first base. They can advance, but this lawyer would take them out in round 1.
Okay, well, that, again, great to know, Mary. We do appreciate the question. And again, one of the things that we love about it is I'm sure a lot of people listening, you find that out. And so what one person asks, many people benefit from.
One of the things that drives a family crazy is for someone to get irritated after mom or dad are gone. And, they have that old saying, well, daddy would roll over in the grave if he knew my brother sued my sister. So how do we prevent that? Because it's generational anger and frustration. We do a little preparation. And if you fail to prepare, then prepare to fail.
Okay, again, great advice. All right, we are going back to the lines. James is on the line with us. James, good evening. And do you have a question or a comment for Kevin?
Yes. I don't know what to do. I've been living here for 33 years. These people moved across the street from me about 12 years ago, and ever since they moved across the street, there's been something happening. They threatened me countless times. They stick dogs on me when I try to do my yard work. They pull guns on me.
Wow.
Stuff come up missing. Lately, they've been spraying stuff on my mail, but I can't never catch them doing it because they do it while I'm at work, or...
Yes. Well, I have a couple of suggestions on that.
I can't really get the police to set up an investigation. They steal part of my mail and then spray stuff on it and do the rest of it.
Well, when they're dealing with your mail, that's a federal offense. Some of the clients that I've seen went and put these little Hunter video cameras that can run for a week and they'll change the tape out. And when you put those cameras up, usually they see that camera. They don't want to deal with that. Now you say, I don't want to spend all the money. Well, you're going to have to do something. And if you let a bully continue to bully, it can only get worse. And I always believe, and like you say I'm at wit's end, then go talk to a lawyer. And many times when you don't know what to do, then do nothing except think and talk. You know, one of the sayings at the Kennedy Law Firm, I don't know where to go, I don't know what to do, I don't know where to turn. And they always say, when you don't know where to turn to the Kennedy Law Firm, because a little conversation goes a long ways. And guess what? Maybe you can stand up and fight them. If you're gone, your family's going to have to fight them.
Well, and like you said, I mean, there's a federal offense when you're tampering with somebody's mail.
Yes, sirree, and it's criminal trespass. It's also a criminal charge for them to threaten you.
Okay,
harassment.
Well, James, I hope that helps you. It's already helped me just kind of get some insight into that.
Yes.
And there's, I know it's tough when you live someplace for 30 plus years and then you get, that nasty neighbor that moves next door.
We hear about it.
That's right. So I would just not sit there and take it. All right, so we're going back to the lines right now. Lucy is with us. Lucy, good evening.
Hey, y'all.
Well, hey, do you have a question or comment for Kevin?
Well, I want to say this. I've heard all your preceding callers, and that's where I'm at. This is exploding. I have been going through it for almost 2 decades. What I want to know is if you're in a homeowners association and the bullies don't like you because of your religion or people that you talk to, maybe of a different race that they don't like, and one little bully decides to be a typical little 5th grader girl and get in the homeowner association, get people on the board, and then you can obviously tell that the people with the broken down cars that are a code violation never get anything done to, but if you move a bush 2 inches, sending you a letter. How can you take care? Can you sue a homeowners association for becoming a bully club?
Absolutely. And many times people go hire lawyers and they'll send a letter. You know, these homeowners association, they don't naturally have a lawyer, and then everybody's ready to say, hey, let's see if we can work this out, because we don't want all of our dues to be raised in legal fees. So many times people can send one letter and that corrects it.
All right. Again, that's the thing I think we're hearing more and more about, whether it's an individual bully or it's an entire association.
And we hear that problem happens all the time. Yes.
All right. So thanks for your call, Lucy.
Thank you, Lucy.
All right. We're going back to the lines right now. Delano, thank you for your patience. We're glad that you called in this evening. Do you have a question or comment for Kevin?
I have a question.
All righty. Go ahead.
Well, I'd like to know, do we take any cases pro bono? My reason for asking is because my license has been suspended for old court cost fines and fees to the amount of $27,000.
Wow. And that's big.
And the debt has been sold off to a private firm. So I don't know what to do. I can't afford a lawyer. I'm tired of driving on suspended license.
Right. Well, here's the deal. The Nashville Bar Association has a list of lawyers that entertain pro bono work. Also, the Tennessee Bar Association, and I'd like to just say publicly, thank you for all those that will go the extra mile and help those who are in need. I'm a big proponent and a supporter of the Legal Services of Middle Tennessee. They operate with a lot of private funds, and they're there to stand in the gap. And so, you can still pursue that. They have guidelines on what they can and can't do. And remember, if it's a criminal case, you can get a lawyer appointed to you, and if you can't afford one, they'll appoint you one.
All right. Again, good to know. So we appreciate the call, Delano. So I hope that helps. We are going back to our lines right now. Norma is on the line with us. Norma, how are you this evening? And do you have a question or a comment for Kevin?
Yes, I do.
All right.
Well,
go ahead.
Kevin, my name is Norma, and I was wanting to ask you a question about divorce and divorce decree. I have been divorced for 15 years, and I am trying to see if I could get my divorce set aside so I can get some veterans benefits. So how do that work, and how long do it take?
Okay, well, here's one thing. Usually they have like a 1-year limit to set aside a divorce, and that's called a Rule 60 motion if there was a mistake. Now, if you could prove there was fraud, then you might attack that from that they've misrepresented to you and misrepresented to the court, and you could reopen it. All of your facts would have to be different. As a general rule, once your divorce decree is signed, there's 30 days to file your motions or file your appeal, and it becomes final. That's res judicata. Why? Because public policy says when we get divorced, I want you to have the freedom to go on and marry again and do whatever. So that's what the public policy is. But yes, if you did have one of those particular circumstances that you could reopen it, then I would talk to a lawyer and pursue that.
All right. Thank you so much for your call, Norma. So do you have a question or a comment for Kevin Kennedy? He's from the Kennedy Law Firm, one of the great law firms here in Tennessee, in business for over 34 years. And I tell you, a lot of people calling in. We're going back to the lines right now. Steve, we are glad that you called in. Do you have a question or a comment for Kevin? Are you with us, Steve?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, okay. Let's say you wanted to sue your wife. You don't want to get a divorce.
Okay.
But you just, you're unhappy with some things and want to sue her and kind of shock her back into where she needs to be.
Yes.
I'll listen offline for your answer. Thank you.
Yeah, that's one of those situations I'd like for you to talk to lawyers privately. Can you sue them? Yes. And many times I've seen over the years where people say, I've got to shock my spouse. I really don't want a divorce, but if I don't file something, all of my assets are going to be gone. So, in Tennessee, if you file, there is an injunction that goes down, so you can't go spend everything. You didn't want a divorce, but you felt like you had to do something to protect your interest, also protect your children. So again, there's several things that you can do, and I'm glad that you called, because so many people say, well, I don't want a divorce, and I don't, but if we bring these actions, you've got to be prepared. What are the ramifications? Do I really push her over the edge, or do I just bring her attention? Would a letter do the same thing? So there's a lot of options. I'd love for you to talk privately. Find out all your options. Weigh the pros and cons. Put them on that scales of balance, and then make your best decision with a trusted advisor. One of the people said, you know what? I got to get a preacher I believe in, and I need a lawyer I can trust. It's a magic formula, and we concur with that. And all the lawyers, people say, well, we hate lawyers. But everybody I know, I have lawyers, and I love my lawyers. And they've given me some great hope and some direction and security. And so when I look at all those problems, I love my lawyer.
Okay, well, and I like the fact that you said options. It's all about options.
It's all about options.
You need those options.
I had some of my lawyers who said, and I said, well, we're going to have to fire. And so these lawyers were in a group, they said, well, be prepared. And it's kind of like when you slap one of these big companies, they're going to slap back as soon as we go. So that's why I like to evaluate. You hit them, stay away from their strengths, hit them at their weakness, and that's a strategy of lawyers, and it's a brilliant strategy. It's been working for thousands of years.
Absolutely. Okay, a lot of you are online with us. We appreciate the calls. We do need to take a break, but when we come back, we're going to talk with Giselle and Ann, so come on back with us.